Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Zach, and today we're going to be talking a little bit more about sound and music. Today we're going to be talking about two main aspects of sound called frequency and amplitude. Now if you remember, sound is nothing but vibrations that are traveling through the air, going from just a source, any kind of thing, and going straight to your ears. Frequency and amplitude tell us a little bit about how those waves travel. So the first one, frequency, tells us how fast it's vibrating. So certain sound waves may be like going through the air and they're moving everything very quickly. There's a lot of energy happening. That means they have a really high frequency because they're going back and forth so much. However, on the flip side of that, if things have low frequency, it means they're kind of a little bit less energy. They're a little bit looser. They're a little bit slower. And that, all those kind of frequency tells us a little bit about the sound. What it doesn't tell us, though, is about the amplitude. But before we get into things a little too much, I have some funny-looking things around me. Now, if you remember being in the music studio here at the Clay Center, you've probably seen this instrument next to me. It is called a theremin. And a theremin is actually a musical instrument from about 1928, and it was first invented by a man named Theremin. That's where it kind of gets its name. It's a very early electronic instrument. That means all of the vibration and sounds happen inside of a speaker, and inside that speaker sends out the sound waves to our ears so we can hear it. Now, a theremin is actually has either a cone or different kind of wands, pipes, things like that, and it works by how close you are to it. So if we listen, you don't really hear the instrument right now, but if I bring my hand closer to it, you can hear that it starts playing. And depending on how far or close I am to it, will tell me how high or low the frequency is. So listen. When I'm very close to it, it has a very high frequency. That means it's a really high pitch, but when I'm further away from it, the frequency goes down. Now, the ones we have at the Clay Center only kind of like change the frequency of sound. That means they only make it higher or lower on like that pitch scale. Real theremins are like the ones sitting in front of me, and the thing that's different about them is they have a wand, but they also have this other part on the left. And this part on the left is actually your amplitude controller. Amplitude in sound is how much of a disturbance it is. So things that have giant amplitudes, like giant vibrations, are just a whole lot of energy that are like moving a lot of things around. That means when you hear something that's a really high amplitude sound waves, it's very, 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 very loud. If things aren't moving a lot of things around, it's low amplitude, and that means they're a lot quieter and they're a lot harder to hear. Now, the cool thing about amplitude and frequency is they're totally different things. You can have really high frequency things like a flute or something like that play very loud or very quietly, and that's the cool thing about sounds. With the theremin in front of me, this wand controls the frequency, and this wand controls the amplitude. Now, I know it doesn't look like a wand in this one, but just kind of pretend with me, all right? So now, when you play a theremin, you have your left hand actually touching this wand, because if you look, it's not making any sound. When I'm very close to it, it makes it totally silent. But I'm going to leave my right hand right here, and now back my left hand away, and you should start to hear the sound. So you can see how my left hand makes it quieter or louder depending on how close I am. Now my right hand, just like this theremin, will kind of change the pitch. So watch this. So you probably maybe even hear kind of instruments that sound like this in like scary movies or cartoons. You're right, that's a theremin that's kind of making like spooky Halloween sounds of different kind of things. But it's a cool instrument because it shows you the difference between frequency and amplitude in a really great kind of way. Anyway, we hope you are having a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you back here at the Clay Center to play all of our fun instruments here in the music studio. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.